Me for all of your insurance needs. Give me a call at 865-992-3871.
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Make sure you use the promo code FANRUN to take advantage of their welcome bonus and so they know that we sent you. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-88-99789. Must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee to bet.
It's the chase! It's the chase! Live 1 to 3, Monday through Friday on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville. Listen to Chase and his friends on WKG. It's the chase! It's the Scruffy City! Listen to his friends, and his friends are on WKGN. I'm always taking your calls on the Tennessee Vols. It's the chase! It's the chase! It's the chase!
All right, the chase is on East Tennessee. My name is Chase Thomas, joined alongside Garrett Armbrust and intern Jackson here on this fine Friday afternoon. Jack Foster of Omaha Productions and Rocky Top Insider out this week, but he will be back, rest assured, next Friday. We have got a jam-packed show for you guys here, coming to you live from the beautiful White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios right here in Knoxville, Tennessee. We're 1 week out from our game day preview, basically, with Tennessee kicking off in Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta on August 30th. We are 8 days away, but college football is back tomorrow. High school football on the docket all across East Tennessee this weekend as well. We had some big games last night. Oak Ridge with a big win over Halls on Rivalry Thursday, and big win for them. So kicking off the season, and that was a big-time environment, a great win for the Wildcats. But we have all kinds of big games tonight. We'll be covering it all on our Friday Fan Run Football Fridays show right here on Fan Run Radio and Fox Sports Knoxville from 9:30 to 11:30. So make sure you call in and join the fun there. I will be calling in and giving my live report from Northview Academy versus Knoxville Carter tonight. So excited to get up to Kodak and see what things look like for the Cougars post Mason Phillips, who is a walk-on quarterback at Tennessee this fall. So excited to go see them. The air raid for the Carter Hornets. Fun style of offense there, and a lot more ground and pound with the Cougars. So I'm excited to see what that matchup looks like here on this fine Friday evening. But without further ado, Garrett, how are you doing, my friend?
Doing good. We're through the first week of classes now, so we can shift our focus to college football tomorrow. We're 1 day away. We've made it, ladies and gentlemen. The wait is over of the excruciating offseason. The greatest sport on earth is back on our televisions tomorrow afternoon.
Absolutely. And there's no college football games tonight, right?
No, they're all tomorrow.
Okay. And Garrett's going to be locked in. Other people are looking at Ireland and Iowa State and Kansas State. Not Garrett Armbrust. Garrett's locked in on Stanford, Hawaii. Who are some other ones? UNLV's got a game.
They play Idaho State.
Yeah.
You got Western Kentucky, Sam Houston.
You're going to like that. Feels like a game up your alley.
It's a big game for the Conference USA race.
There you go. Always great stuff from G6, Garrett. And Jackson, how are you doing, my friend? Another week, or I shouldn't say another week. Your first week down as well here. Things going well?
Yep. Doing great as always. Fun fact, my cousin is a Carter alumni.
Okay.
He was like their all-time leading passer for at least when he graduated. Don't know if that still stands.
How long ago was this?
I want to say early 2010s.
Okay.
When he graduated.
Were they still running the air raid then? Did you go to any games? Because, I mean, they have a very fun, different kind of style.
I was very little.
Okay.
I have a picture at the game, so I know I went to a couple.
Yeah.
But
what's his name?
Jonathan Freeman.
Jonathan Freeman. Okay. Shout out to him. Yeah, Strawberry Plains. It's where I got married, actually. My wife and I got married in Strawberry Plains 3 years ago. We're less than a month out from 3 years. Time flies when you're having fun. But yeah, Strawberry Plains, always a special spot for us. Beautiful area over there on the way to Asheville and the Smokies and all that good stuff. So I'll pass by it tonight on the way to Kodak to check out the Cougs versus the Hornets. But yeah, they run a fun style, and they've had a lot of good seasons here, and we'll see what Coach Helton has in store for those Hornets this Friday evening. So we got a jam-packed show for you guys here today. I appreciate you sticking with us here on this Friday afternoon on the Chase 1 to 3, Monday through Friday, right here on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville. We've got 3 guests we're going to talk to here. We'll talk to Russell Mays from Fulton High School Radio, and does a great job covering the Fulton Falcons football, basketball, and baseball programs here locally. So we'll talk to Russell right here on the program to highlight what's in store for Justin Long's Fulton Falcons here tonight as they kick off their season. We'll talk about more Tennessee football recruiting and do a deep dive in Kamari Blair, where things are with Tennessee and the 2026 recruiting classes that continues to wrap up here for Josh Heupel's bunch. At the top of hour number 2, we'll talk to Daniel Dudley, head football coach at Cocke County, to get his insight on his program. Big road game at Jefferson County for Cocke County. So excited to talk to him and see where things stand with his program going into 2025 as well. So stick around for that. He'll be on at 2 o'clock Eastern time. We'll do our year 2 lowdown series. Caleb Herring, the next man up here at Leo. So we'll dive into that. And then Matt Green, the co-host of the Georgia Voice of College Football and fellow University of North Georgia alumni like myself, longtime friend of the program and friend of mine, will join us at 2:35 to talk about the SEC going to 9 games and what that means for Tennessee, Georgia, and some other premier programs and all of that good stuff. So jam-packed show for you guys here on a Friday. Let's kick things off here with the SEC going to 9 games. Garrett, my most curious thing to me is I'm glad they're doing this. I think it's better for the schedule if you're going to continue to raise ticket prices and everything else. The inventory of home games has to continue to improve, unless you're Indiana, where I will maintain Indiana should have to go 11-1 to make the CFP.
Tough out of conference this year.
Oh, great stuff. I mean, Kurt Signetti. I mean, it's got to be a tough day in the Kurt Signetti household with we're just following the SEC schedule model. And then the SEC not only goes to 9 conference games, but they are requiring SEC teams to keep their Power 4 non-conference game as well. So just a jam-packed 10-game schedule. And that's not even including the rivalry games if you're South Carolina and Clemson, Georgia Tech, and the like.
There would be nothing funnier than if Old Dominion beat Indiana this year, week 1. I mean, there would be absolutely nothing more funny. All the talk he has about all this, and then for that to happen. But no, I think the 9-game schedule, I think it's good. I think a lot of SEC fans were kind of agitated that Sankey, I guess you could say, kind of quote unquote caved in to the Big Ten, and wanted a lot of those Big Ten coaches saying that SEC teams should play 9 games, and the SEC now going to 9 games. But I think it's the proper model. I mean, you look at a team like Texas A&M; they've been in the conference since 2011. This is their 14th season in the SEC, and they still have not played a road game against Georgia. I'm not sure how that's possible, but that is one of the schedule intricacies of what they've done. I believe with the new model, you'll play every home and away team at least once over a 4-year period. So I think that's really cool for if you're a student at a school, you can watch a home and away game of every team in the conference while you're in school. So I think that's really cool. I think it's going to be better for fan experience. You get 9 games. And now I think for the playoff, I think 10 wins and you're definitely in, because with that extra game, I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of teams. You're definitely not going to see many teams going 12-0 if you're having to play a Power 4 conference team for your 10th game and 9 conference games. Winning 11 games is going to be extremely difficult. I think you're going to see a lot of very good teams 10-2, and I think the days of seeing teams going undefeated in regular season play might be over. Yeah, and I think Brandon Marcello of CBS Sports made this point of like fans having to readjust their brains, where the programs that are used to 8-4 and 9-3 need to be more accustomed to 7-5 and 6-6 in this new scheduling model where it's just going to be different. Yeah. I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, as I said, obviously 11-1, you're probably going down to 10-2 now. So obviously you work your way down to the ladder. Teams that were 8-4, 7-5, 6-6 now, probably with the way I know we were talking about bowls, a couple weeks ago. I know I'm a little bit more into bowl games than you are, but I think that definitely could be kind of a detriment to the bowl season, the way that this is going to happen, because now it seems that they're doing this obviously because the playoff inevitably is going to get larger. Obviously at 12 teams right now, you're probably going to go to at least 16, I would think, within the next couple of years. It seems like here pretty soon bowl games are going to become, unfortunately, pretty meaningless. Obviously opt-outs have taken over bowl games a lot here in the last decade, but it really seems like the way that college football is going with this amount of games, it just seems like, especially those lower level bowl games, unfortunately, are going to take a big hit. And I hate to see that, but I just think that's what's going to happen in the wave of the way that the sport's going right now.
Absolutely. Jackson, do you want to see 9 SEC games? Does that increase your interest as a student to be able to go to different venues that you've not been able to go to yet as a Tennessee student?
I mean, unfortunately, it's not going to really affect me. I'm a senior this year.
Oh, no.
I have no plans of going to grad school.
Okay.
So I won't be here as far as I know.
As far as you know, you could get back another semester. Could you pull off one more semester? Do a victory lap.
I mean, I'm sure I could. I could take just all like physical education classes in the spring and have to come back for a fall semester. But I don't know. I want to graduate in the spring when everybody else graduates. I wasn't on track to do that when I was a student at Ole Miss. So to be able to do that would really.
I didn't know you went to Ole Miss first.
Yeah. Years. I didn't want to go to Tennessee out of high school because I thought it would be like high school 2.0.
I understand that.
Everyone at my high school was going to Tennessee. And nobody was going to Ole Miss. So I was like, that's where I'm going to go.
Okay.
Didn't work out down there. Just not my kind of place. There's not a whole lot to do unless you want to go out and drink and spend money, which is fun once a week. But when you're bored sitting in your apartment on a Tuesday night and like there's nothing to do besides go out to the bars, it just,
You're not doing a sales pitch for Oxford, Mississippi. I don't think they're going to be a sponsor of this very program. Apply to Ole Miss from Jackson over here. So I don't think that's going to happen on this front. But we're glad to have you here back in Knoxville, Jackson. And so that was kind of dreary. It was like Brett was back in here where we have Brett he was struggling yesterday with the Savion Hyder stuff and just the Tennessee football optimism meter. Like, before we jumped on here, he was talking about Jonas Adu and like, what are we doing? Like, we gotta continue to. My job this fall is to raise Brett's spirits. Like, I'm going to continue to. Like, things are really good, and I encourage every Tennessee fan here. They enjoy all of this because this run that Tennessee's on right now, as a whole, with Randy Boyd and Donde Plowman and Danny White and company, enjoy it because you just don't know when things are going to change in a hurry. Things are really, really good across the board. So soak it all up because this stuff can change in a hurry. But yeah, I think it's a pleasant addition to have 9 conference games next year. I like that Tennessee is going to rotate all across the board. We'll talk as we continue on here throughout the 2 hours of who Tennessee's 3 permanent SEC opponents make the most sense. The one worry I guess I have is that Tennessee has a great, like one of their best teams, and it's the year that they get 4 home games and 5 road SEC games, where that could be the difference potentially in them making the playoff. And you're like, man, they just got bad scheduling luck that particular year. So I wonder how much, because you're going to have this odd number, how much that's going to flip races and how the committee is going to value that for teams that maybe had one more loss, but they played one more road SEC game versus the alternative. So I'm curious how that's going to unfold, because that's the one part of this that's not neat, is some teams are going to get screwed here in terms of who their 5 road SEC games. And it's that ultimate saying, you are not what your record says you are. And I think that's going to be extremely true in the SEC going forward.
Well, I'm thinking, next year, teams that we haven't played in a while that we're due to play on the road that come to mind would be Ole Miss, Texas A&M, Texas. Like, those are teams that you don't really want to go play road games against, but those are, probably the teams that we're going to be playing next year, because those are, cities that we haven't traveled to play road games at in a long time. And I think that's how they're going to adopt the schedule, kind of, as if, if you've played, because the way they did it before, you basically had to play I think it was 6 years or something, maybe 8 years you had to play an away game because I can't even remember the last time we played at Ole Miss. So I got to assume that's got to be coming soon. The last time we played A&M was in 2016, I want to say, the double overtime game. So I would assume that's got to be coming. Texas, we're going to have to play them next year because we played Oklahoma the past two this year and last year. So we'll be due to play Texas. That just seems like a lot of tough road games against like traditional SEC West opponents. When we had divisions, that was why we weren't playing them. So it seems like those road games will be due for us because we played Ole Miss would have been next year. That'll be 5 years to go at home. So it seems like we'd be due to play them on the road coming up.
Absolutely. When we come back, we'll talk to Russell Mays from the Fulton Falcons radio program to talk all things Fulton Falcons football here this fall. Stick with us. It's The Chase right here on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and always streaming for free on that Fan Run Radio app.
Take Fan Run Radio with you on the all-new Fan Run app. Just search for Fan Run Radio wherever you download your apps.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm going to hop online and I'm going to get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? It seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
Ready to launch your career? Axle Logistics is a leading third-party logistics company where excellence is an energy. With an award-winning culture, Axle proves that positive outcomes come from a positive environment and a work hard, play hard mentality. At Axle, the drive for success is infectious. And with an uncapped commission structure, hard work isn't just noticed, it's rewarded. For those with big goals and even bigger dreams, Axle Logistics is the place to start your career.
Rickard Ridge Barbecue, located in beautiful Cove Lake State Park. Rickard Ridge is home of the best ribs in the volunteer state. Smoked daily by pitmaster Mark Rickard. The barbecue at Rickard Ridge is mouth-watering, fall-off-the-bone delicious. Take the scenic drive up I-75 to exit 134. For directions and to look at the rest of the menu, visit Rickard Ridge online at rickardridgebbq.com.
Believe in family. Believe in your fellow man. Believe in honesty and an honest day's work. We do. We're Farm Bureau Insurance. And we don't just believe in Tennessee. We believe in Tennesseans. Farm Bureau Insurance. Tennessee's insurance company.
This is Baseball VFL Cody Brown. Farm Bureau Insurance is the official insurance for Tennesseans. Believe in me for all of your insurance needs. Give me a call at 865-992-3871.
Citizens National Bank.
We make it easy to save money. Get access to thousands of discounts on shopping, dining, and travel with the CNB Plus Perks account. It's a powerful new way to save money with roadside assistance, cell phone protection, identity theft protection, and credit monitoring. Banking at CNB has its perks. Call or stop by a branch for more details.
Citizens National Bank. Banking never felt so good.
Member FDIC.
Barley's has live music on weekends, general team trivia on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., and now live sports trivia, courtesy of the Knoxville Trivia Guys, every Thursday night upstairs. The game starts at 7 p.m. and is free to play for everyone, so head on down to the Old City and show off your sports knowledge and win gift cards to Barley's. Use those gift cards to buy some delicious food and drinks, and you can take it all in with their wide selection of TVs and indoor projectors. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
This is Chase right here on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and always streaming for free on that Fan Run Radio app. Joining me at this time, Russell Mays from Fulton Falcons Radio. Russell, good afternoon, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing great. How's everybody doing there?
We're doing pretty well. Are you ready for football season here at Fulton High School?
Well, it's definitely an exciting time and a lot of work to get ready for it, but it's definitely worth all the effort that goes into it.
Well, Justin Long, friend of the program, was grateful. I was grateful enough to have him join the podcast this summer, and it was great to get to know Justin. What are you most excited about seeing Justin here in Fulton at year 2?
He is so proud of this program, and of course, he was our quarterback in 2003 when Fulton won their first state championship. So, in a time that the high school football landscape is changing so much, to have somebody at the head of the program who has an immense amount of pride in the program, I think is definitely a big deal. And just trying to get the community to rally around him, the alumni, former players, to kind of rally around the program is one of the things that he's working extremely hard on. Justin does an incredible job of relating to the players. He's a lot of fun to be around. But he can be very serious when he needs to be. He can get the guys' attention. And, last year did just an incredible job of getting the team ready. And, 6-5 last year, and had a couple of games that probably very easily could have went the other way. And that was just a testament to the amount of work that he put in the program and the attention to detail that he had.
Yeah, and he's just, you can see it's infectious, his energy and his optimism. And it feels like he's just been a home run hire for Fulton to bring him back home.
He has. And again, it goes back to it meaning so much to him. There was a couple of times last year, once after a loss and once after a win on the post-game show, you could just sense the emotion that he had just in the pride that he had for his football team and the guys that playing for him and what it means to him to be the head coach at Fulton High School. So that was just a great moment to know that he was going to be coming back here because, going away to Grace and having the experience of being a head coach, I think, prepared him well for the situation we're in here at Fulton.
Russell Mays is our guest here from Fulton Falcons Radio, presented by SM Athletics. Go visit smathletics.com today for all of your custom apparel needs. Russell, who is the most exciting returning player? Who are you most excited about seeing play this season for Fulton?
Well, if you look at our statistics, we lost 20 seniors last year. So, and most of those guys that were contributors. So Rajon Womble is our leading passer. He's our leading rusher. He's our leading receiver and our leading tackler returning this year. So he's going to be a guy for us that definitely is going to be the one to watch starting out and the most familiar face that you'll see. He was primarily a running back last year, and he's going to transition into the quarterback role. And he had some opportunities at different times last year to play the quarterback position. So, he's the guy that we're going to have our eye on. He's the guy that's been a contributor for 3 years and a really good athlete. And we're just anxious to see how he, moves into that role of being the starting quarterback for us.
Hey, Russell, thanks for coming on. This is Garrett. I just wanted to pick your brain kind of when you look at the schedule this year, where do you see the games that are going to be the real swing games this year that'll kind of make or break their season, where you feel like you really have to win those games? They're winnable games, but you got to play your best if you're going to get a W on that schedule.
Well, this schedule is extremely tough, and to have a young team against, some of the teams we're playing. On one of the statistical services that covers high school football, we play 3 of the top 10 teams in Tennessee in the first 6 weeks, and Macon County, Anderson County, Alcoa. That's a tough run for a team that's going to be as young as we are. So it's going to boil down really the games I would circle that I feel like have to be must wins for us. Probably in the middle of the season is going to be Heritage. And then you get down to, that Carter, Gibbs, South Doyle towards the end of the year. We've got, obviously Alcoa, Anderson County. I think people are going to consider them to be right there at the top of the region. There's going to be 5 other teams that are really good that are going to be battling for those last 2 playoff spots. So, when you kind of get past Anderson County, Alcoa in the region, you've got to find a way to win the rest of those games.
So when you think about the biggest newcomers who might burst onto the scene for Fulton this fall, who do you have your eye on?
Well, one guy is he's a wide receiver and defensive back, Darion Bonner, and I was talking to one of our former players, Dominique Williams, that went on to play, college football. In talking about him, he was saying, that's a kid that could have played on our teams back, 2012, 2013, 2014. So I would consider that to be, just an incredible compliment to him. So we're excited to see him kind of get a full season. He's going to be a sophomore, so this will be his first real varsity action. Of some of the guys that have played before. Noah Lyons is going to be, wide receiver, defensive back for us. He's got quite a bit of experience. And then our young guys running the ball. We have a running back by the name of John Whittington who scored a touchdown for us in the Jamboree. We're really excited about him. So there's really a lot of young guys at the skill position that we have that are going to be sophomores that we're going to really need to step up if we're going to have a chance of making the playoffs.
So when you look at the biggest position battles that played out over the spring and summer, what was the most fascinating to you, and where do you think Fulton's going to be the deepest going into the season?
Well, I do think, depth-wise, I think in those wide receivers, because we, at one point we figured we had, starters and felt pretty good even about our backups at those positions. So I think that's the place that has been, been the place where I feel like we have the best amount of depth. Now the situation is those guys don't have a lot of varsity playing experience, and we've sustained a couple of injuries in the early going that has kind of shaken that up just a little bit. So I do feel like our wide receiver defensive back group has quite a bit of depth. And then I think, just watching, kind of by committee to see what we're going to be able to do at the running back position, I think that's the thing. We lost a pretty good running back in Albert Johnson last year that had been a 3-year starter for us. So, finding somebody at running back, John Whittington being one of those guys, that's going to be a big deal for us.
As a longtime Fulton fan and broadcaster, what is your favorite Fulton football memory?
Wow, that's a great question, and it's really hard to answer that because there's been quite a bit. I would have to say probably 2002. We went to Trousdale County in the fourth round of the playoffs, the state semifinals. And if anybody knows the history of high school football, Trousdale County is one of those legendary places, people everywhere. And we won in overtime, went for 2 to win the ball game and got it. A walk-off win. Was just an incredible moment to do that on the road where everyone was against you. That was the first time since 1974 that Fulton had made it that far and made it to the state championship game. So it was a big moment, where it's just one play to determine the football game, and we were fortunate to do it. And I think it really keyed a lot of the success that we were to have in the years to follow.
I'll get you out on this. What's the best part of game night at Fulton?
I think, we have such a great group of alumni and people. It's always fun to see all the old heads and the folks that have been around the program for a long time. And then I feel like, we have tried with our game presentation and our PA announcer and the music and things like that to try to do some things to where, we try to make the atmosphere a lot of fun and try to make people want to come out on Friday nights to the football games. And, it's such a big community event to be a part of high school football, and we certainly hope everybody comes out and catches a game at Fulton High School this year.
I love it. Well, how do the good folks support you and all things Falcon Radio this season?
Well, we will be on the air tomorrow. Our game's on Saturday. We're traveling to Macon County. So the kickoff will be 8 o'clock here in the Eastern time zone. And you can listen to us on 91.1 FM, WKCS. And then we also have a video stream on our YouTube channel. Just search for WKCS Radio. And then at WKCS Radio on Twitter or X or whatever you like to call it. We'll also have the stream there. So lots of different ways to be able to watch and listen to Fulton football this year.
I love it. Well, good luck this season. I'm excited to see what it looks like here for Justin Long and company this season. And as a local guy in the Fountain City, Fulton area, this is going to be fun to follow this fall here, Russell. So I appreciate you making the Chase part of your time today, and we'll have to check back in again soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
There you have it. Russell Mays doing great work over there covering the Fulton Falcons football program, basketball, baseball, and everything else. So I appreciate Russell jumping on here and spending some time with us. I'm very curious because I had Justin on this summer on my podcast, and he was great. I really enjoyed talking to him, and that's a program. If you look at some of those early 2000s stats for Fulton, I mean, they were decimating teams if you look at some of the box scores and just how good Fulton was, and that they can be that again. So I'm very excited to see what Justin can do with that program over the next couple of years. And yeah, I mean, starting off on Saturday, but just all kinds of big games all across East Tennessee yesterday, tonight, and tomorrow. Is there any way we get Garrett Armbrust out in the Friday Night Light Zone, or are you just too locked in tomorrow? There's no chance we're getting you out for West Bearden or anything.
I'll keep up with the scores maybe, but
Okay.
I don't think you'll see me in the stands tonight.
Okay. What about you, Jackson?
Oh,
that's a no.
I'm the kind of guy that, like, if there's a guy Tennessee's recruiting that's local and they play a game that I'm not doing anything that night, I'll go.
So you might go to see Tyreek King at Catholic this fall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
During my freshman year at Ole Miss, I went and watched. I don't even remember who it was. It was some wide receiver that Tennessee was recruiting in 2022 that ended up flipping or something. He didn't end up coming to Tennessee, but I went out to. I don't remember the name of his high school either, but I drove 30 minutes in Mississippi to go watch this guy play, and he's pretty good.
Would it be Cunningham, who ended up at Ole Miss?
Yeah, I think
Caleb
so.
Cunningham?
No, I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard to pull those kids. We'll see if Tristan Keys is able to make the flip from Hattiesburg. But Mississippi kids traditionally are really hard to pull. But Tennessee got two big Mississippi commits this cycle with Darion Albert and TJ White, teammates, so they double dip there. But traditionally, Mississippi is a hard one to pull those kids out of the state of Mississippi.
Yeah, they usually stay in state.
Yep.
That's why, Ole Miss, Mississippi's like one of those underrated states. Like obviously Texas, California, Florida, Georgia are kind of like the top four, but like a lot of those schools in the South, like Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, like they have a ton of talent at a lot of high schools there because a lot of those cities, there ain't much to do other than play football.
Yeah. Well, when we come back, we'll continue the conversation here on this Friday edition of The Chase. We'll talk about Tennessee football recruiting with Kamari Blair, 4-star offensive tackle, from the in-state, flipping from South Carolina to Tennessee this week. So we'll dive into that, some more Tennessee recruiting news and nuggets. So stick with us. It's The Chase right here on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and always streaming for free on that Fan Run Radio app.
You're listening to Fan Run Radio, the sports humans.
Friday Night Lights are back, and that means so is the SM Athletics Friday Night Scoreboard Show. Join me, Tim Hill, a.k.a. Vols Tim 85, and my crew every Friday night starting at 9:30 p.m. live action, live calls, and all of the biggest talking points in East Tennessee high school football. It's the Friday Night Scoreboard Show presented by SM Athletics right here on Fan Run Radio, 1340 AM, the free Fan Run app, and streaming live on YouTube on Fan Run TV.
Hello, is Tina there?
Who's this?
Yeah, this is Vince from the hit reality show Wives Don't Tell. Tina applied for our show to confess that her husband won't go to the doctor to get his erectile dysfunction checked. She said she's ready for a guy that can bring the heat.
All right, what the is going on? You know you're talking to her husband right now? Tina!
Well, she wrote the application that her man's performance is questionable. She's basically married to a coffee table. She also said, we live within driving distance to Men's Pro Knoxville, but he's too scared to get a blood test.
Oh my, she is done. She is so done.
Got you, Mike. It's nephew Tommy. Ain't no reality show. It's a prank. Men's Pro Knoxville is the real deal, fellas. Local experts, test results in minutes. Call 865-544-8220 or hit menspronknoxville.com before your lady books a new co-star. Men's Pro Knoxville, making it happen.
Barley's has live music on weekends, general team trivia on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m., and now live sports trivia courtesy of the Knoxville Trivia Guys every Thursday night upstairs. The game starts at 7 p.m. and is free to play for everyone, so head on down to the Old City and show off your sports knowledge and win gift cards to Barley's. Use those gift cards to buy some delicious food and drinks, and you can take it all in with their wide selection of TVs and indoor projectors. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. You get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Got a flat tire? Strange noise under the hood? Don't stress. Roll into Matlock Tire and Auto Service. From oil changes and brake repairs to brand new tires, Matlock's certified techs do it all. Fast, friendly, and fair priced, Matlock is the home of the price match guarantee. Bring in any competitor's ad, and Matlock will match the exact same tire for the exact same price. Matlock Tire and Auto Service. 5 locations in East Tennessee. Visit MatlockTireService.com to find the location nearest you and schedule your appointment.
Blackford Veterinary Surgery Referral specializes in surgeries not regularly performed by your pet's general veterinarian. They're currently accepting referrals from vets all across the country. With their newly renovated state-of-the-art surgery center and highly trained staff, clients can rely on professional and thorough care. If your vet says that your pet needs surgery or rehab, ask for a referral to Blackford Vet and let them get your best friend back on its feet. Located conveniently in West Knoxville. For more information, visit blackfordvetsurgery.com.
It's Chase right here on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and always streaming for free on that Fan Run Radio app. So we wrap up hour number 1 with Garrett and Jackson in studio with us here on this gorgeous Friday afternoon in Knoxville, Tennessee, in the White Claw Hard Seltzer Studios. Tennessee recruiting is on the uptick. It was a tough week at the start. Savion Hyder feels like forever ago these weeks. So just how much news happens. You know, we're now all encompassed by the SEC 9-game conference schedule, and Savion Hyder feels like forever ago, and it was Tuesday. So Savion Hyder, 5-star running back, ends up picking the Michigan Wolverines, the long-considered favorite for Hyder, over Tennessee. But then, just a day later, Kamari Blair flips from South Carolina to the University of Tennessee. 4-star tackle out of the state. So Tennessee kind of sneaky loading up on high school talent here in the state of Tennessee this cycle. You have Zayden Anderson, the corner from Greenville, 4-star corner. He's in there. Tyreek King is in there. You obviously have Gabriel Osenda, 5-star tackle from Baylor. there's a healthy amount of Tennessee guys here in the cycle. Zach Groves, obviously at strong side defensive end. You have a lot of different folks here on the Tennessee side of things that are from the in-state coming in this 2026 class. But I do think it's just kind of sneaky interesting where Tennessee is at here at this point on August 22nd, because there are still some holes in this class. Obviously, there's no running back or tight end in the 2026 class now, with Carson Seed flipping to North Carolina. And now with Saban Hyder picking Michigan over Tennessee. Tennessee's kind of where they were last year at this time, where Tennessee, if you recall, Terrell Sims did not have a running back at this point in the cycle. And they got Dwan Morris, Oakland Star, to flip from USC late in the cycle. Do they do it again? Or do they just look at the portal and do the Star Thomas thing all over again and just go that route? I think that makes a lot of sense, because I think the expectation is Peyton Lewis, Deshaun Bishop are both back next season. It seems like Deshaun Bishop's like a 4 or 5 year guy. Peyton Lewis, if he has a great year next year, that's probably NFL bound, but you assume you're getting Peyton Lewis back one more year as well. So DeJuan Morris will be a true sophomore at that point. Like, you've got some depth. Justin Baker from Buford, he'll be a true sophomore. So you don't necessarily have to circle back on another blue chip running back this cycle. I think this is one of those interesting ones where you're probably okay. But I think it's a little bit interesting that Tennessee, they're just going to have options at tackle and guard, and they've quietly done really well. They're 12th in this cycle right now overall and on 3. They move up from 13th to 12th after adding Kamari Blair to their class out of Kirkwood. So he's the number 22 overall tackle in on 3's recruiting rankings. You already have JP Shabazz, 4-star tackle out of North Carolina. He's 6'6", 280. 6'6", 280 guys. And I think part of the reason when people were so obsessed with Darius Gray, who I believe is not officially announced, I don't know what time his announcement is today, Garrett. Do you know off the top of your head?
I was thinking maybe it might be 4.
Okay, so it's a late afternoon one. And that doesn't feel like a Tennessee possibility. It seems like that one's down to South Carolina and LSU. And probably helps South Carolina's chances with Kamari Blair flipping to Tennessee here this week, but we shall see on that front. But I just look at this group right now, and I understand Savion Hyder is the flashy name, but Kamari Blair is another big-time tackle. And I think you just really can't understate the importance, Garrett, of stacking blue-chip tackles. They're not all going to work out here, but you saw, you thought Larry Johnson might be your swing tackle this year because you developed him out of JUCO and everything else, and you signed David Sanders, and it's like, well, David's going to start because David's the 5-star guy, big money guy, and plug and play. And that's just kind of the nature of the beast there. So Larry's now going to start, looks like a tackle opposite of Jordan Seaton at Colorado. You can never have enough tackle depth, because if you're just like, oh, no, we're set for a while. We got our couple 4-star, 5-star guys, and now we're good. We got Gabriel Osenda in this class. We're okay. You just don't know. And you don't know what can change on a dime in recruiting, where it's going to be for Gabriel Osenda at Baylor. We'll see. But now you have 3 options in this class. And I just think you cannot have enough guys in this department, because when you recruit and retain well in the trenches, that just raises your floor so much in the SEC and beyond. So with Tennessee being part of what Heupel has done to this point is he has obviously developed defensive line talent extremely well. Part of the reason Tennessee's defense has gotten progressively better, especially in the scoring department year over year, is because of how well they're rotating and developing on the defensive line. On the offensive line, I think this year is going to be a really good year. I think this is going to be a great year for Lance Hurd. I think it's going to be really fascinating to see what David Sanders does as a true freshman, but Wendell Moy should be great. You have Jesse Perry, who looks like, to this point, a great 3-star diamond in the rough out of the home state. And then you still have William Satterwhite in the fold. You still have Max Anderson in the fold. You still have Gage Ginther in the fold. You still have a lot of guys behind them that are developing. Sham Umarov, 4-star guy out of Denmark High School in Forsyth back in, 4 classes ago almost, Garrett. So I just look at the options when I'm looking through Tennessee's recruiting cycles the last couple, and I understand Kamari Blair is not going to just get fans super excited where it's like, oh, we already have Osenda. We already have David Sanders. We already have Bennett Warren. It feels excess. It's like, well, no, you just don't know how quickly this can change. And Kamari Blair could be your long-term answer at one of the tackles. And you just cannot have enough options at that spot, because when you have premier blue chip tackles in this conference, that will help whoever it's Faison, George, Joey, Jake, whoever is under center for Tennessee over the next couple of years. When you have this many options, I think you have to feel really good about where Tennessee's going on the offensive line.
Yeah, no, I mean, you hit it right on the head. I mean, you have to have, elite play in the trenches on your O-line and D-line if you're going to compete for SEC championships, and especially on your offensive line. I mean, I think Faison, we've said before, 2027 is kind of the year that we're looking at where we really think that team could be a national, title contender if the roster is what we think it's going to be. And if you're going to win a national title, I mean, you have to have developed offensive linemen that come in and can hold their own against the top D-lines in the country. And a lot of those top D-lines in the country are in the SEC. And when you go into road environments and you're playing and you have some of those edge rushers that are, first-round draft picks that you're going up against, you got to be able to protect your quarterback and make sure that he doesn't get sacked. And to be able to stack guys like this, obviously David Sanders coming in 5-star, and then obviously all the hype that we've seen around Osenda, and then to land Blair on a flip, is very pivotable. And I was, when I remember when he committed to South Carolina, I was just kind of like, that's interesting. I kind of thought we had a pretty good chance to get him when he originally committed, but for Heupel to be able to flip him, I think speaks to what Heupel's doing on the recruiting front. And I think they're building by 2027. I think you're going to see the best offensive line that Tennessee's seen at least since, obviously I'm younger than you and younger than a large part of this audience, but it's going to be as good as an offensive line as I can remember watching Tennessee football. And I think that just really opens up, obviously, the run game, opens up the passing game, helps your quarterback not get injured. It helps your quarterback make better decisions, not turn the ball over. It's just such a pivotal piece to good football is to have, a good offensive line and to have, a good front that protects your QB.
Yeah. And I think things they're just trending up. And Glenn Ellerbe, I think people have just gotten on his case, where he hasn't developed his own guys yet. But Darnell Wright's not a top 10 pick potentially without Glenn Ellerbe's development over 2 years at Tennessee, because Darnell was not a plug and play guy in 2021. He really struggled in his first year in Heupel's scheme, and year 2 is when he broke out and really was comfortable on that right-hand side and became a top 10 pick. And I think Glenn Ellerbe's gotten everything you could out of like a J.J. Crawford, right, at left tackle. Gerald Mincey, he definitely got all he could out of Gerald Mincey. He developed Ollie Lane extremely well. Ollie Lane turned into a great left guard for Tennessee for several years. And Spraggins had some great years at Tennessee, even though I would say probably this past year was unfortunate that it just was kind of a down year for Spraggs, but he was still great VFL and great overall at Tennessee. But yeah, I just look at this, and I think what's also pretty interesting on the defensive line part of this is we've kind of danced around this a little bit on this show this summer, Garrett, but it's something that I don't think is going to happen anytime soon, probably behind the Tristan Keys timeline. But I do think Coach Chop has to flip one of Hezekiah Harris, Tristan Gibbons, because again, kind of like tackles, I think Leo, you could argue for me, is the second most or most important position for Tennessee to continue to stack elite bodies in this conference. And when you're going up against some premier tackles week over week in the SEC, who are also, other programs are the Texases, the Bamas, the Georgias, they're signing 5- and 4-star tackles as well. You need those premium Leos off the edge. And Tristan Gibbons from Georgia over there at Carver, we'll see if they're able to flip him from A&M. But I think I was reading Austin Price in the War Room VolQuest this week. I think they kind of hinted that Tristan Gibbons might be a tougher flip than Hezekiah Harris. And part of it is I'm sure Hezekiah is at Auburn, where Auburn can very much go off the rails this year. And if Hugh Freeze gets fired and they have a bad year, then that probably opens the door and puts Tennessee in a great spot. But even if he doesn't get fired, if they have a down year, this, that, and the other, the development at Tennessee, especially at the Leo spot, it's hard to, I feel like, say no to Coach Chop and Coach Rodney Garner for a lot of these guys, especially in the state of Alabama, where Chop and Rodney have a lot of deep ties and have flipped guys before. Tennessee went into Vestavia Hills 2 cycles ago and got 5-star Leo Jordan Ross. So again, those guys don't just get out of Alabama or Auburn without an elite guy with elite ties in there and elite trust, and that's Rodney Garner and Coach Chop. So I do kind of feel like Hezekiah Harris is probably the guy, but another top 100 Leo. And I think they just sneaky need that. I think every cycle needs a big time blue chip tackle, offensive tackle. And I think every cycle needs a tip top Leo. And I don't think there's any way around it, because some of these guys are going to transfer. Some of these guys are not going to pan out. They want to play and rotate in, but you just can't have enough of these guys because the turnover is quick. And especially if you pop as a Leo at Tennessee, like you look at James Pierce, he had a little bit of a role in 23, but he made the most of it. And then 24, he was a starter and he's off to the NFL. So you're not going to get this 3 to 4 year cycle with these premium Leos and tackles. So you need to recruit to replace, is I believe the terminology. And I think I'm not in the business of doubting Coach Chop on the recruiting trail, but I do think when you look at this class and I'm looking around, they kind of do need that more than maybe even receiver because you have Sleazy Mo in the boat.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously the Leo position is very important. Obviously we're going to see what Herring does this year. I think, you and I both would probably like to see that position this year be a little bit deeper. I think obviously you kind of talking about this when we're recruiting. I mean, that's part of the thing you want to do with that Leo is you want to just create depth on that depth chart of that position. Obviously, Givens was kind of a punch in the gut when he committed to A&M because it seemed like after he came on that OV here, he was kind of all in on Tennessee. I remember don't remember exactly what he said, but he basically was speaking very highly of his time here in Knoxville, and it really seemed like we had a chance to get him. And then obviously goes to A&M, and I don't know what the money he got was or anything, but it just seems like A&M obviously has a lot of that money, and I don't know if that was fully the reason why you went there, but A&M has a lot of money to play with, and I just don't know if you're going to be able to flip him. I feel like if you're able to flip a Leo in this defense, in this system, I feel like, as to your point said, I think that would be almost more beneficial because I think we're pretty confident that Givens probably most likely won't be flipping here to Tennessee and that he'll be probably staying with the Aggies because I think Texas A&M is going to have a pretty solid season this year. And as you said, Auburn, they could go 5-7 this year. So I think you look at the way those two programs are going, I think one player definitely could have a better chance of ending up, in a Vols jersey next year than Givens.
Yeah, and I'll take either. Like, that's the whole thing. I'll take one or the other. And yes, you have Kedrick Golston the second and CJ Edwards, but 3-star guys, more, guys that you would get in as like long-term projections. But there's nothing wrong with taking those guys. But I still think every cycle you need a premium blue chipper at that Leo spot to continue to push the guys behind you.
Right.
You just don't know Jordan Ross is going to work out here. Well, we hope so. It's a big year for him. I hope it works out for Caleb Herring this year, but you just don't know at this point. And we'll dive more into where things stand with Caleb Herring, the number 1 player in the state of Tennessee in his class a couple of cycles ago. And it's a humongous year for Caleb Herring. He's just one of those guys that I have circled that if Tennessee is going to make it back to the college football playoff, one of the guys who I have circled that I think would have to be a big part of that is Caleb Herring, because I don't think Joshua Josephs is going to be that 9 sack guy, just jumped up from 2 sacks to 8 to 9. That doesn't seem realistic to me or fair to him because I think he's a really good run defender too. Like, he's just more of a jack of all trades. You can move him around the defensive line, just a good player. But I do think you need one of those scary Leos off the edge. And I think Caleb Herring's probably in the best position to do that. So we'll talk more about Caleb and why this is such a monumental year for him. Because if he's a terrorizer off the edge and he becomes one of those next breakout Leos that opposing offenses are afraid of, where he can wreck the Arkansas game, wreck the Florida game, this, that, and the other, because there's just no answer for him off the edge. It's big for Tennessee because the offense still a big TBD. But if Caleb Herring's a star and he breaks out this year, that's very good news for the Vols.
I think it's real possible. I mean, I think he's in a good headspace this offseason, and I'm excited to see what he can do on the field this year because, as you said, highly recruited out of high school, and it just seems like he's inevitably going to hit at some point, and this seems like his best chance to do it this year. So I'm excited to see what he can do on the defensive side of the ball.
When we come back, we'll continue the conversation with Daniel Dudley, head football coach of Cocke County here in East Tennessee. So stick with us. It's The Chase right here on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and always streaming for free on that Fan Run Radio app.
The flagship station for Tennessee football. Fans. Fan Run Radio.
Yeah, it's another day, but what kind of day is it really? A day of doom scrolling? Laundry day? Nah, it's a White Claw day. Light and refreshing tasting, uniquely cold way filtered. There's an iconic flavor for everyone. So grab a pack, grab your friends. Make the most of each day with those who matter most. When you're together with White Claw, every day is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You just gotta grab it. White Claw. Grab life by the claw. Please drink responsibly. Hard seltzer with flavors. White Claw Seltzer Works, Chicago, Illinois.
What's the difference between an ordinary EV and a Mercedes-Benz EV? The feeling. Electric is what gets you there. Mercedes-Benz is what moves you in ways no other automaker can. Feel the freedom of the superbly versatile 7-seater EQB. Revel in the inspired, customizable comfort of the EQE sedan. Sense the brilliant intelligence of the EQE SUV. Discover the boundless capability of the EQS SUV. And luxuriate in the flagship meets spaceship magnificence of the EQS sedan. Every Mercedes-Benz electric vehicle offers the very latest MBUX voice-activated AI software, as well as remote access to a whole host of functions via the Mercedes Me Connect app. The vehicle's electric, the feeling all Mercedes, the choice all yours. Test drive a Mercedes-Benz electric today at your local dealer or learn more at MBUSA.
Hey Knoxville, Surf C is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar with no bubbles and no troubles. That's right, zero carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy. Headed to a game day or party at a friend from Surfside, or try their green tea and new raspberry tea vodka. Find Cam with the sunset stripe this season, Surfside iced tea and vodka, sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Must be 20.
Storm tree looming over your home? Call it Landscapes. Whether it's trimming, removal, or storm cleanup, our certified pros get the job done safely and efficiently. We're licensed, insured, and ready 24/7 for emergency calls. Big or small, we cut them all. ECR Total Landscapes. Call now for a free estimate, 865-384-2012, and mention promo code FANRUN for free stump grinding on any tree removal now through the end of the year. Also, visit us at ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Blackford Veterinary Surgery Referral specializes in surgeries not regularly performed by your pet's general veterinarian. They're currently accepting referrals from vets all across the country. With their newly renovated state-of-the-art surgery center and highly trained staff, clients can rely on professional and thorough care. If your vet says that your pet needs surgery or rehab, ask for a referral to Blackford Vet and let them get your best friend back on its feet. Located conveniently in West Knoxville. For more information, visit vetsurgery.com.
Has served the Knoxville area, from Clinton Highway to Parkside Drive. Even our friends out in Maryville have reached you, our fans, with the best cookies in the game. This fall, Crumble is gearing up for yet another fantastic season. Whether you're tailgating or looking for a pick-me-up after getting the kids from school, Crumble has you covered. Download the Crumble app to check out this week's rewards and features. And stop on by. Tell them Fan Run sent you, but don't miss the cookies.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Your tax refund belongs to you, not an identity thief. Over $6 billion in tax refunds were flagged by the IRS for possible identity theft last year. If you're in a bind this tax season, LifeLock can help. They monitor and alert you to identity threats you'd miss on your own, even if you're careful with your personal information. And if you do become a victim of tax-related identity fraud, LifeLock has U.S.-based restoration specialists ready to help solve your identity theft issue. Plus, all LifeLock plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, meaning LifeLock will reimburse you up to the limits of your plan if you lose money due to identity theft. Let LifeLock help protect your financial info, so all you have to worry about is what you do with your tax refund. Go to LifeLock.com, save up to 25% off your first year. The promo code is HERD, promo code HERD, to save up to 25% off your first year. LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Running a business, coaching a team, planning your next big event, you need more than just gear. You need SM Athletics and Logo Solutions. Custom uniforms, branded apparel, promotional products, done right, done fast, and built to show off your brand with pride. From local businesses to high schools to major universities, SM Athletics is trusted by winners. Get real service, get real quality, get noticed. SM Athletics and Logo Solutions, where your brand comes to life.
Visit smathletics.com and let's build something great together.
right here on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and always streaming for free on that Fan Run Radio app. On the line right now, Daniel Dudley of Cocke County. Daniel, good afternoon, my friend. How are you?
Good afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty swell. Are you ready for game day?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We've had a good preseason. A lot of scrimmages, a lot of jamborees. Now we're ready for the real thing, 4 quarters of football.
How was your offseason, spring, summer, installs, and everything else? Were you pleased with how the offseason went for your program?
Yes, we had a good offseason. Guys got a lot stronger in the weight room this summer. Felt like we took a step forward in our speed, and I feel like we're in good shape and ready to go tonight.
So when you look at week one as a head coach, do you like having a challenge like Jefferson County out of the gate? Do you like easing into your schedule a little bit more? Which way do you typically lean here?
We're going to play whoever's on the schedule. We don't get too much into that. Jefferson County is definitely going to present a challenge. They're a good football program. Established football program. It's been in the playoffs the last few years, and Coach Riley's done a tremendous job there. But we're looking forward to seeing where we're at.
So when you look at your position room, where do you think you're deepest going into this year?
Probably our offensive and defensive line. I think we've got about 7 to 8 guys that we can rotate in there. On the offensive line, and then probably 6 on the defensive line. But we also feel good about our running back situation. We got some veterans there that have played a lot of football for us, so we think that could be a position of strength for us.
Who, when you look at, is going to have a much bigger role than what they had last year? Who do you have circled that you're really excited to see what they do with this bigger opportunity this fall?
Colton Sane has transitioned to the offensive side of the ball. He's been a starting linebacker for us for 2 years now, but he's stepping into our quarterback position. I'm excited to see what he does. He's had a good offseason. He's a super smart kid, 30 on his ACT, natural leader. So I'm excited to see what he does. I think, when you look back at this season, you'll see growth out of him from week to week. We have several other kids we're excited about as well.
Is this, when you look at just where you're at, just class-wise here, is it going to be a lot an older team this year? Is it going to skew more younger? Where are you at in terms of junior, seniors, and the freshman, sophomore dynamic on this year's team?
We have a huge senior class. We have 16 seniors. Our junior and sophomore class are smaller. We've had some attrition there, and then we have 25 freshmen. So kind of a interesting mix. We have a lot of older guys that have played a lot of football, and then we have a big freshman class. So I think we're looking for some of those juniors and sophomores to fill in to kind of play special teams and things like that. But definitely relying on our seniors for sure this year.
How do you balance that with a freshman class that you're really excited about and getting some actual real game reps here?
Yeah, we've kind of kept those guys separate. We kind of split practice. They kind of practice on their own, and we're playing a 9-game JV season this year to give those guys plenty of reps. And we've been excited with what we've seen from those younger guys. They still have a long ways to go. They're not quite ready for Friday Night Lights, but we think the future is bright with them.
What are your game day routines? Are you a little bit stitious at all? Not too superstitious, but just a little stitious, Daniel?
A little bit. I think the biggest thing is just keep the players busy. Don't let them sit around too much. We're actually about to go down to the weight room and get a lift in. That would be crazy, but just kind of wake ourselves up a little bit. But you've got your routines and things of that nature that you've done over the years. But nothing. I don't wear the same underwear or anything like that. If that's what you're asking.
No coffee, no kind of meal no locale that you frequent beforehand, just to. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I drink coffee all the time. So,
okay.
I'm actually looking forward to my next cup. So that's something. If coffee didn't exist, I'd struggle.
So what are we talking here? Are we a black coffee guy? Are you a Dan Campbell, multiple espressos? Are you doing cream and sugar? What are we doing here?
I'm a black coffee guy. I'm kind of a plain, simple guy, and that's kind of how I like my coffee.
How many are we doing a day, Coach?
I think we're about to do cup 8. So,
Cup 8?
Don't tell my wife.
Cup 8. We're just past noon, Coach. It's game time. You got a couple more hours to go. When is your last cup?
We'll be right before kickoff.
Goodness gracious. I love it. I mean, that's a healthy amount of caffeine, Coach.
Probably not healthy, but it's what I need.
It's what gets you fired up, man. I love it. So when you look at this matchup here with Jefferson County, what are you most excited about seeing play out in this game? And where are you most curious how your guys match up against what the Patriots are going to throw at you?
I mean, it's a game. You know, it's an old rivalry game for our two communities. You know, and I keep telling our guys we've got to hold up to our end of the bargain. It hasn't been much of a rivalry the last couple of years. You know, and I'm excited to see how our kids are going to respond to adversity tonight. I think, you know, any coach, you know it's going to happen, and you want to see how your kids handle it. We've got a veteran group, and I expect them to handle it well.
So when you look at the schedule as a whole, is there a stretch of schedule where you think you're going to learn the most about your team, or is it pretty even throughout?
I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I've been focused on Jeff County since I knew they were game 1. I really couldn't even tell you who's on the rest of our schedule. Obviously I know our conference games. We're focused on tonight. We're not going to focus on anything in the future right now.
What is your favorite part of coaching in the Cott County community, and what makes it special for you?
Just how much they support our football program, you know, regardless of, you know, wins and losses. When we, you know, play our first home game, the stands are going to be packed. They're going to come out and support us. You know, just getting to know the kids and watching them grow up within this community and go on to be, you know, productive citizens who give back. I think that's the most rewarding thing. That's why you do this as a high school football coach.
I love it. Well, Coach, how did the good folks here, both all across East Tennessee, support your program and keep up with everything Cott County football this fall?
You know, of course, we've got the social media platforms, you know, Twitter or whatever it's called now, Facebook, Instagram. You can go out and follow those up. I don't know the handles because I'm not a social media person, but it's part of the necessary evil these days. And, you know, WLIK, our local radio station, they always carry our games. So and then of course the Newport Plain Talk, they do a great job of covering local high school athletics, and our sports reporter, Jake Nichols. So.
Well, I love it. Good luck tonight, Coach. We appreciate you making part of your day here with us right here on the Chase. We'll have to have you back on again soon this fall.
Awesome. Thank you for having us.
There you go. Daniel Dudley, Cott County head football coach. Great stuff from him. Big game here tonight against Jefferson County with BFL Spencer Riley there. So that segment was presented by SM Athletics. SMathletics.com. Go visit that today. 865-966-3434 is the way to get in touch with the good folks over there at SM Athletics for all of your custom apparel needs. Their team is dedicated to delivering the highest quality of custom athletic uniforms, unparalleled customer service, and reliable products tailored to your specific requirements. Make sure you give them a call today at 865-966-3434 at smathletics.com. So, as we continue on here in hour number 2, great stuff from Daniel Dudley from Cott County, and big time matchups. If you're in the area, Jefferson versus Cott County is going to be a good one. So make sure you go support those two programs if you're around looking for something fun to do on this Friday night. But as we continue, who's your 3? Garrett, in terms of your permanent rivals in the SEC side of things? Now that it's kind of official, we're going to have 3 permanent rivals. Who are the 3 that you want Tennessee to have going forward? Who are the 3 that 2 I feel like are non-negotiable, even though I would probably not include Vanderbilt as a non-negotiable, but it seems like that's just going to be part of the deal, is Vanderbilt and Alabama. Alabama being their obvious one. Where do you lean for number 3?
I would go Florida. I mean, the argument I guess could be made about Kentucky, but I think I would rather play Florida. Every year.
Florida, I struggle with it because it's not like you wouldn't play Florida that often. You'd still play them twice in 4 years if they're not your permanent rival. And that's what I understand to be weird not to play Florida every year. But remember, Georgia was not a rival for Tennessee for the first decades of SEC football between Tennessee and Georgia. Like, this is a more recent thing. So for me, it seems like Georgia's for sure out, and I don't want Georgia and Alabama on Tennessee's football schedule year in, year out if I can help it. Because some years you're 2 of 4, you're still going to get Georgia and you're still going to get Bama on the schedule together. And some of those years might include Texas as well for Tennessee on the schedule. So it's going to be pretty crazy in 26 and 27. But Jackson, do you go Florida? Do you go Kentucky? I mean, the other one that's been thrown out is South Carolina. Seems like the dark horse there potentially. Where do you go with it?
When it comes to Tennessee's rivals, I'm very traditional. We have no traditional rivalry with Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Going back further than the 90s, don't really have a rivalry with Florida. We absolutely have no kind of rivalry with South Carolina. In my opinion, I don't see it. I think, you want to stick with tradition, you go Alabama, Vanderbilt, and Kentucky. Which I know doesn't lead, those aren't big games, but it'd probably be to the benefit of Tennessee because you do get Vanderbilt and Kentucky on your schedule guaranteed every year.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely to your benefit. Like, if you get Kentucky, it's just more of, I have a hard time believing the SEC and teams are not going to be upset at Tennessee if they take Kentucky and Vanderbilt as 2 permanent rivals.
I mean, who cares?
I don't know if they're going to be able to pull it off. Like, that's where I would go because my whole goal is to win as many games as possible. And I already know with a 9-game schedule in this rotation, Tennessee's going to have a bunch of big-time competition on their schedule year in, year out. So if I can make 2 of my 3 permanent rivals, I would say most years, very easy, winnable games. I am picking that every single time.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. I mean, if you want to win games, then yeah, I would say play Kentucky, Vandy, and obviously Alabama. I think Alabama, you're in a situation with them where you can win that game 50% of the time, and then obviously you should be able to beat Kentucky and Vanderbilt, upwards of 80% of the time. But I don't know. I like that Florida rivalry. I think it's fun. I know we've kind of got it handed to us over the past 20 years, but I don't know. The last 2 games that we've won in Neyland against them have been really fun. And I don't know. I thought that was a really good rivalry in the 90s and early 2000s. There was a lot of good games that were played there. And I just like to keep that one going.
That's fair. I would not lose sleep over losing Florida just because I know, like I said, you're playing them 2 out of the 4 years anyway. So you'll still go to Gainesville. You'll still have them here. I'm in the business of ultimately winning as many games because this schedule is just going to get so hard. Like, this schedule is going to get arduous, and I want Tennessee in the playoff more years than not. And who knows what Kentucky looks like in a couple of years? I don't know, but those games still do feel rivalry-y, even though Tennessee is dominating that series. It does. I still look forward to Tennessee-Kentucky week. I still enjoy those games. And Lexington has been kind of dicey the last couple times. It wasn't a clean, just easy win. Tennessee could just coast. I mean, the first one in the Heupel era was a back and forth, just barn burner, where offense was winning the day. I mean, Tennessee scored the first play where the ESPN cameras weren't ready for Javonte Payton to house that thing. I think, who was that? Beth Mowens and Jonathan Vilma on the call, I want to say, where they were like, whoa! They were just like, because it was Tennessee peak tempo era was a sight to behold. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know which way they're going to lean. Let's put a bow on it here. What's your prediction as to where things go this fall? The final prediction, not what you want, but what you think it's going to be for Tennessee? Who's the 3 that they pick?
I think it'll be Florida because I don't think they're going to allow them to pick Vanderbilt and Kentucky. I don't think they're going to let them pick 2 of the bottom 4 teams in the conference.
I tend to agree. I think Tennessee and Danny White should push for Kentucky, but maybe they meet in the middle, Jackson, with South Carolina instead of Florida. I don't know. I tend to think it's more likely and more realistic that it's Florida or South Carolina, but the preference is Kentucky. Where do you land?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you would like to see it end up being Kentucky and Vanderbilt, but it's a little more realistic to have a Florida or South Carolina, and I just have so much disdain towards South Carolina. I would really like to see Florida. If I had to pick the two, I mean, I hate Florida too, but I like playing them every year.
Okay.
So
I don't like playing them in Gainesville. I don't know if
I don't like playing them in Gainesville, but I have friends that are Florida fans, so it's just gives me a reason to talk to them after high school and all that. Like I like the idea of playing Florida every year.
I respect it.
I'll be interested to see who the power forward matchup is that we have to schedule, the out of conference game every year.
Well, we've already gotten that scheduled for 3 years out. We got Tech next 2, and then West Virginia and Charlotte in 28. And then isn't 29 Washington?
That's the home and home with them?
Yeah, I think that's 29 and 30.
Yeah, okay, well, yeah.
They're booked up the next 5.
Yeah, well, I mean, still, though, in 5 years, they'll be here, before you know it, and then we'll be saying...
Can you not do that? I will be, pushing 40 at that point. So let's not just say, it'll be here before you know it. I'm not yada-yadding my 30s here, Garrett Armbrust. So that's something you could do in your 20s. You're like, those 5 years, they'll be here before you know it. No, we're not doing that. It's day to day.
I want it to be day to day. I'm just saying that they're going to schedule the 2031 game probably next year.
All right, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear.
They schedule the games 5 years in advance.
I mean, I get what you're saying. I just don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about 2031 and me do the math. 2031, I will be 40 years old. It's tough.
Well, I'll be 27. So.
Great. All right, Garrett.
I'm saying I'll age with you.
That's not well, I mean, yes, we're all aging together. That is how it works. We're all aging, but not at the same age. So a little bit different.
Well, I mean, you just have to be born at a different time than I was.
Empathy is Garrett's strong suit, as we learn here on the Chase on this fine Friday afternoon. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation on all things Caleb Herring and the Year 2 Lowdown. We'll also continue our conversation in the SEC conference schedule, and VolQuest dropped their picks, so we might touch on that as well from the program. Grant Ramey with a stunner that we also have to address live on the radio. It's The Chase, Fox Sports Knoxville, Fan Run Radio, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and always streaming for free on that Fan Run Radio app.
For the fans, by the fans, this is Fan Run Radio, Knoxville.
Attention service members and veterans. Introducing the Griffin Law Firm, your trusted ally in military legal matters. From court-martials to benefit claims, at Griffin Law, your mission is their mission. Here's VFL Marshall Griffin.
As a veteran and retired military attorney, I've successfully defended lifelong benefits and helped preserve professional futures. So I know that when you hire a military justice lawyer, you maximize your chance to get relief. With my unique experience, I can advocate for you because there's no military matter that's too big or too small. Let us help you make these critical decisions that could affect the rest of your life. Remain silent. Request counsel. Call Griffin Law.
For a free consultation, call 888-707-4282. That's 888-707-4282. Or just visit griffinlawdefense.com.
In a world filled with deadlines and screens, sometimes we forget the simple joys of life, days filled with special moments. At Inward Half, we understand the essence of these moments. Feel the difference between our breathable fabrics and flexible apparel as you disconnect from the hustle and bustle and reconnect with what truly matters. Inward Half, simple luxury for on and off the course.
Yo, 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 what is up with it, homies? Talk sports, that's the show you want. It's the longest running sports radio morning show in town. You want your radio shows to be fun, and that's what Talk Sports is. Fun, fun, fun. No weirdo callers. I think Tennessee gonna go 6-6 this year. No nerdy guests. Well, their receiver depth is a little bit thin. Just two of the most entertaining guys in town, and Bubba giving you what you need. Tune in 7 to 10 a.m. every weekday here on Fan Run Radio.
Hello, is Tina there?
Who's this?
Yeah, this is Vince from the hit reality show Wives Don't Tell. Tina applied for our show to confess that her husband won't go to the doctor to get his erectile dysfunction checked. She said she's ready for a guy that can bring the heat.
All right, what the is going on? You know you're talking to her husband right now? Tina!
Well, She wrote the application that her man's performance is questionable. She's basically married to a coffee table. She also said, we live within driving distance to Men's Pro Knoxville, but he's too scared to get a blood test.
Oh my, she is done. She is so done.
Gotcha, Mike. It's Nephew Tommy. Ain't no reality show. It's a prank. Men's Pro Knoxville is the real deal, fellas. Local experts, test results in minutes. Call 865-544-8220 or hit menspronknoxville.com before your lady books a new co-star. Men's Pro Knoxville, making it happen.
It's Chase right here on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and always streaming for free on that Fan Run Radio app. You can join the conversation today. Call us, text us at 865-966-3435 is the way to be a part of today's show, 865-966-3435. Jackson and Garrett in the house. Garrett politely reminding me of the fact that I will be 40 years old, and he will not be anywhere close in the year 2031 when Tennessee is scheduling out some more non-conference games. So we do appreciate that, Garrett Armbrust.
That was not the intention. The intention was to explain to the audience the exciting Power 4 conference games that would be happening out of conference for the 10th game of the schedule that would be allowed starting next year. But Chase, unfortunately, took it as a shot. So here we are now.
Oh, I didn't know where that sentence was going to end. I thought you were like, Chase, unfortunately, not sure if he's going to be able to physically be able to make it at that point in time. Like, if the Kane status, will he be wheeled in?
40?
Oof, man, life comes at you fast, man. Like, I didn't think I would have permanent arthritis in my left foot here, and I have right knee arthritis. Yeah, long distance running will wear on you as you get older. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. Maybe I'll be a Dr. House walking around with a cane, or my favorite Martin Crane from Frasier, all-time great sitcom. We don't know.
Well, maybe we'll just focus on the 2025 football.
That'd be great.
Then. Yeah, we'll just focus on the schedule this season.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
And it's also one of those things where I still say 24. Like, it has still, I don't know why this year in particular has been hard for me to remember that we're in 25. I think we did a lot of preview stuff in 24 for 25 for some reason. So my brain always second guesses when I'm like, the 2025 season. I don't know if that's just me, but it is kind of weird that saying out loud, this is the 2025 college football season that will get underway here in week 0 this weekend. But yeah, I want to start here at the top with Caleb Herring. So we were talking about why it's such an important year for Caleb, and he's added 45 plus pounds since he arrived on campus, 6'5", 245 edge, number 1 player in the state of Tennessee, number 16 edge overall in the 2023 class. So he has been here for a minute out of Riverdale at Murfreesboro, Tennessee. He has all the talent in the world. And Joshua Josephs is obviously going to lead Tennessee in snaps at Leo this year. It's a big year for him as one of the leaders on this defense. But he's someone that can be moved around, right? Like, one of the things we saw last year for Tim Banks' unit was Joshua Josephs was all over the place. Sometimes he was standing up. Sometimes his hand was in the dirt. He's a versatile defender. He's not just a true Leo. Caleb Herring is super interesting because Cooper Patagna, friend of the program at 247 Sports, projects Caleb Herring as a 2 to 3 round day 2 guy for Tennessee. And this is what he wrote at the time of his recruitment in 2022. Listed at 6'5", 205, man. So he's 50 pounds basically to where he was when he first got to Tennessee. And he appears to possess growth potential to add additional weight to his frame, which is what happened. Displays good athleticism off the edge and situationally as an off-ball linebacker. Flashes a good first step off the line of scrimmage, can play a little high at times, but compensates with speed and quickness at the point of attack. Shows the ability to bend the edge and displays excellent burst to close ability. Leans heavily on his speed rush ability off the edge. Will need to develop the ability to utilize his hands and play through his frame at the next level. Appears to have adequate play strength, more geared to play the pass than anchor the run, which is a key factor here and what we need from Caleb Herring this year. displays good athleticism to play off ball if needed in certain situations, can drop in coverage and play sideline to sideline, another added dimension to his game. Projects as a 3-4 outside linebacker with the ability to give you some drop and off ball ability at the next level. Projects as a high level multi-year starter at a Power 5 program with the ability to develop into an all-conference player. Will add value on multiple special teams units as well. So high praise from Cooper, who does a great job over there at 247 Sports, been on this very program, and knows what he's talking about on the recruiting trail. So I do think when you hear that, Garrett, what stands out to you? To me, it's that he is more geared to play the pass than anchor the run, which is what they need, because Joshua Josephs is an elite run defender off the edge. What they need is Caleb Herring to be someone who's a versatile Swiss Army knife who can drop back and do other stuff off the edge, right?
You would think so, yeah. I mean, if you have a guy, obviously, like you said, they can stop the run. You're going to need someone that can, get more QB hurries and can do kind of more things than just stop the run, be more effective in, creating pressure on the passing game. So I think he's going to have to be kind of that guy that's, going to have to be more, I don't know exactly what the word would be for it, but just more versatile basically for his position. And if he can do that, I think that obviously he's going to have a breakout season because he's going to have the opportunity, if he has the versatility to make the plays, he's obviously going to put up the stats. And but I think, like as you were saying, sometimes the stats on players like this don't really speak to how good they actually are, because if you're, just racking up, solo tackles from trying to, stop the run game and you're not getting a bunch of sacks, people, you only had 2 sacks this year. Well, yeah, that wasn't really what he was trying to do. He wasn't going after the quarterback. So I think you kind of have to take stats with a grain of salt here, and you just have to see how versatile he can be all over the field and what kind of playmaker he can be.
Yeah. Jackson, do you have Caleb Herring as a breakout guy for you off the edge this year?
I breakout is a tough thing for me to just call for, in my opinion, because there has to be something there for me to constitute a breakout. I think we could see a major step up, but is he is this his third year or second year?
Third year.
So there's a chance we get him back for next year.
Yeah, I think he's someone who's probably not straight to the NFL if he has a breakout year, because I think you're losing Joshua Josephs after this year, and I think he's probably in line to be that starting Leo if he has a good year this year, and he can parlay that into his final season on Rocky Top. I would guess Caleb Herring would have 2 years as a contributor.
Yeah, I mean, if he steps up, and I don't know off the top of my head his numbers from last year, but if he gets like 6 sacks this year and then next year steps up to double digits, I mean, that would be my breakout as a senior.
Well, and here's some reference points, because Pierce in 22 as a true freshman, he appeared in 13 games, 3 solo tackles, 2 TFLs, 2 sacks. So very little production from James Pierce his freshman year. Year 2, 10 sacks, 1 interception, 28 combined tackles, and 15 TFLs. Last year he had 13 TFLs and 7.5 sacks. I think people kind of overreacted to James Pierce last year. Like, James Pierce was still an exceptional edge last year. It was just not as good as he was 2 years ago, but he still had a great season off the edge for Tennessee. But that's a big jump, and that's kind of where maybe you talk yourself into Josephs, because Josephs had 2 sacks last year, where, hey, Pierce went from 2 to 10 in one season. Could that be Josephs this year? I think it's still, to me, the difference was James Pierce was year 2 in the system when he made that leap, and I think he had more of that natural pass rush ability as opposed to Josephs, who feels more like a Swiss Army knife, can do a lot of different things, and there's a lot of value there, especially like we said, he's a really good run defender. I mean, he was the highest graded defensive lineman for PFF last year for Tennessee. So Joshua Josephs at North Cobb is a great player. I remember you were talking to Rusty Manziel when we first started this show in June from On3, and does a bunch of high school recruiting in the state of Georgia, and he highlighted Joshua Josephs and how much he liked him as a player. So he's a good player for Tennessee, but I don't think he's a good pick to be a guy from going from 2 sacks to 10 sacks. I think it has to be one of Caleb Herring, Jordan Ross.
Yeah, well, he also had, he had 3 forced fumbles last year, too.
Yeah.
So, that's obviously very impressive. And then, as you said, I had stats up right here. He had 1.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and then 17 solo tackles. So, that's someone that's pretty versatile. They're kind of doing to have 3 fumbles, you got to be pretty versatile on the run game. You're obviously stripping the running back when he's coming up the middle, and you're making plays, on the run game. So I think Pierce, as you said, he was kind of a different guy. He was kind of, you just go after the quarterback, and Pierce was just kind of a freak athlete too. I think a lot of people don't really understand how just athletically of a freak he was. And I don't know that the body types of Caleb Herring, and Joshua Josephs are exactly the same as a body type of what you saw from James Pierce. But, I mean, it's possible. I think if you have a sack and a half last year, I don't think it's crazy to say that it could be he could get 4 or 5 sacks, but I don't think he's someone that you're going to say, yeah, I expect him to get 8 sacks this year either. Like, I just don't think that that's fair to him because, the versatility that he has, I think that you would be fine with 4 sacks and 4 forced fumbles and 25 solo tackles. Like, I would be fine with that. I mean, the sack number, I don't think is a bearing end-all, be-all type thing for me.
Yeah, it's kind of fascinating because Caleb Herring has, 2 years really where he has 1 sack in 2 years, 2 TFLs, not a lot of production. 1 forced fumble 2 years ago. But we haven't seen much. And Jordan Ross, you haven't seen much. Pierce showed a lot more as a true freshman. And you could just see like that was potential. And then he still burst onto the scene as a true sophomore. And that's Herring's in year 3, Jordan Ross in year 2. I just think it's got to be one of those 2. I love Josh Josephs. He's going to play a lot of snaps, but I just don't think that sack number's coming. I don't see a 2 to 10 burst from him his last year on Rocky Top, but I do think they need it from somebody.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't really, if you have 3 guys that have, 2 sacks, that doesn't really help you. I mean, I feel like you need to have someone that asserts themselves and has that 7-8 sack number because, that if you only have a couple guys that have 2 sacks, you're probably not getting to the quarterback as much as you would like to. And I think on this D-line, that's going to be pretty important is to create quarterback pressure because especially early in the season when your secondary might be a little bit, less deep than you would like it to be the first however many weeks of the season. It's pretty pivotal to get pressure on the quarterback, especially in the Syracuse game when Angeli's obviously a solid quarterback. And then you have Gunnar Stockton coming in here to week 3 against Tennessee. We obviously know that, he's a pretty solid quarterback, but unproven. But still, I mean, going up against that Georgia offensive line, that's going to be a tough task to put pressure on him.
You get 2 choices, Herring or Ross having a breakout star season for Tennessee or Mike Matthews or Braylon Staley. Who do you have a better feel on breaking out here? As like we look at them
who
as
do I want or who do I think?
Who do you think?
I think it's going to be wide receiver play. I think Matthews will probably get more targets this year. I mean, the guy only had 7 receptions last year. And if you look at his numbers, I mean, he had 13 yards per catch, 2 touchdowns on 7 receptions. I mean, if you give him 40 receptions this year, he could put up 600 receiving yards. I think he's a guy that you're going to have to lean on in the passing game this year. And I think he's going to see a lot more reception. I think he's just as talented as maybe not, right now, but I think he's as talented as a Cam Coleman, or I think he's as talented as some of these wide receivers that are in the SEC that played really well last year. He was just in a position as a freshman where he didn't get as many targets as some of those guys did.
Yeah. I tend to say, like, I would be surprised if come January, we're not hearing Caleb Herring or Jordan Ross as a first-round guy in 27.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, you're going to have to see the step up from them because if you don't see the step up from those players, then that's going to be definitely a concerning situation on the defense, especially in that Leo position if you don't have enough depth. Because, like I said, I mean, that Leo position, when you go into the second, third deep, there's not a whole lot of depth there. I mean, Caleb Herring like you said, he does not have that many collegiate solo tackles, 1 forced fumble. Like, those are guys that have not played a whole lot, and they're going to have to go out there in a year when they're going to get more opportunities and show out for their team.
I love it. When we come back, we'll wrap up here on this Friday edition of The Chase with my good friend, Philly University of North Georgia alumni and host of the Georgia Voice of College Football, Matt Green, to talk a little SEC conference scheduling and Tennessee, Georgia side of things. So stick with us. It's The Chase right here on Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and always streaming for free on that Fan Run Radio app.
Check out our new and improved website at fanrunradio.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jacob Wilco, and I'm proud to join the team here at Knoxville Smiles, where we're leading the way in comfortable, modern dentistry. Many people are anxious about going to the dentist. Here at Knoxville Smiles, our team works hard to make the experience as comfortable as possible. We offer everything from warm blankets to sedation dentistry to help you relax and make your visit as enjoyable as possible. So if it's been a while since you've been to the dentist, give us a call at 865-539-1776 to experience a dental visit that will make you smile.
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Make sure you use the promo code FANRUN to take advantage of their welcome bonus and so they know that we sent you. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-8899-789. Must be 21 or older and located in Tennessee to bet.
Hi, this is Bo Kregner from the Kregner Group at Realty Executives. And I know there's a lot of choices here in East Tennessee when it comes to choosing a realtor. Here's why the Kregner Group is different. At the Kregner Group, our motto is walking by faith, serving others. It's how I live my life. It's how I run my business. Here at the Kregner Group, we're committed to doing real estate the right way. Faith, honesty, integrity. The Kregner Group. Call me anytime at 865-742-1035 or visit my website at bonoshouses.com.
Ready, set, hut. Wait a minute. Isn't this a Smokies commercial? It is, but tonight is Tennessee Titans night at the ballpark. Enter to win a free autographed jersey and Titans tickets. See you tonight.
Have you ever found yourself wishing your clothes looked brand new again? Whether it's your favorite suit, that little black dress, or your comfy winter coat, Crown Cleaners can make it happen. From stubborn stains to delicate fabrics, the expert team at Crown Cleaners uses the latest cleaning technology to ensure your clothes come back looking and feeling fresh. Visit one of their 2 area locations, Kingston Pike on Bearden Hill or South North Shore Drive near Dunkin' Donuts. Online at crowncleaners.com. Crown Cleaners, a tradition of excellence.
Hey, folks, if you're in need of a lawyer, you need to call my friend Jerry Givens. I've known Jerry since high school and can personally vouch for him. He's East Tennessee through and through. And if you're going through a divorce, bankruptcy, or a DUI case, you'll need someone you can trust on your side to help you navigate the local legal system. You can trust Jerry Givens. Call the law offices of Jerry Givens today at 865-801-9250 to schedule your free consultation. That's 801-9250.
It's Fan Run Radio, Fox Sports Knoxville, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM, and always streaming for free on that Fan Run Radio app. The chase wraps up here on a Friday with my good friend, Felling University of North Georgia alumni. I'm actually rocking the North Georgia polo today with Matt Green, fellow Nighthawk, host of the Georgia Voice of College Football. Matt, good afternoon, my friend. How are you?
Good afternoon, sir. Repping North Georgia and got Outcast on the coming on the out of the commercial break. It sounds like you want to be a Georgia guy more than a Tennessee guy, if you ask me.
That's it's starting off great. It's always it's always a pleasure getting Matt Green on this fine program on this beautiful afternoon here in Knoxville, Tennessee, sir. So SEC officially going to 9 games in 2026. What's your immediate reaction? Is this good or bad for the conference going forward?
Well, the fact that this kind of was paired with I don't know if it's an announcement, but that I guess the college football playoff is going to kind of reevaluate their strength of schedule metrics. I'm sure that's not a coincidence. I'm sure the SEC was waiting for that. So the fact that that's part of this, man, 9 games, I'm just thinking strictly from a fan perspective. I'm not a coach that has to prepare for 9 SEC games as well as another. What was Greg Sankey's a competitive or high quality out of conference game? I'm all for it.
Yeah, and I think, we were talking earlier here. Tennessee's got their schedule. They don't have to worry about finding those spots. Like Indiana would be in trouble trying to find their spots if that was something that per TD instituted for the Big Ten. Tennessee's got Georgia Tech the next 2 years after this year. You've got West Virginia and Charlotte the year after that, and then you have Washington in a home and home in 29 and 30. So Tennessee is very much scheduled out here. But I imagine I was actually texting with a friend of the program and cousin Sam here. He's a Florida State alum, and he was wondering if Georgia is going to happen, or if with this 9-game schedule, does it feel like Florida State Georgia is probably not happening going to 9 games and everything else?
Yeah, that's my biggest question. Like Georgia had 5 years ago, it was just an insane run of future non-conference games they were going to get. We saw the Oklahoma series get canceled because of them joining the SEC. Georgia was supposed to have a home and home in Texas, which obviously changed because of them joining the conference. I know they had Ohio State home and home, Florida State home and home. I'm curious how that all shakes out because, I assume when Greg Sankey is saying one high-quality Power 4 matchup, all those teams, the South Carolinas, the Floridas, the Georgias that all have those locked ACC rivals, I assume that's the one game and you could still have 2 potential cupcakes. I would hope that those good non-conference games like the Florida State one, the Ohio State, I would hope those can still happen, but I'm definitely skeptical at this point.
Does this to you optically feel like the SEC kind of gave their power up a little bit to the Big Ten, kind of cowered here a little bit?
You could look at it that way if you wanted to. I personally think with 16 teams, there was no other option than to go to 9 games to me, because I don't know how you would keep it at 8 games and then still try to preserve some of these rivalries and still play everyone. Obviously we're not playing everyone. Alabama's coming to Georgia this year for the first time since 2015. We've talked about a bunch on the podcast. Georgia still hasn't gone to Texas A&M. We're 13 years in now. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but obviously now things have changed. But yeah, I think it's so perfectly clean that you have the 3 lock teams, 6 rotate 1 year, 6 rotate the next year. Everyone's playing everyone. I just think it was kind of inevitable of just having a 16-team conference and how you're going to schedule it.
As an unbiased observer as to who Tennessee's 3 permanent opponents should be, we've been debating it here across this show here on this Friday afternoon. Matt, seems like the consensus here is Bama, Vanderbilt, and Florida, but Kentucky being the preference in terms of just stacking wins and honestly just kind of the rivalry part of it, getting Florida and Vandy, but doesn't seem likely that the SEC is going to go for Vandy and Kentucky to be permanent rivals. Who do you think is the fairest 3 for Tennessee? Who do you want to see them have as their 3 permanent opponents?
Yeah, this is tough. So I sent you this graphic yesterday that I think I made 5 years ago. I'm not even sure when I actually made this, in anticipation. It probably wasn't 5 years ago because we weren't talking about Texas and Oklahoma, but it was a while back. And my glaring omission, which I guess you didn't even catch it, I didn't have Tennessee, Alabama as one of the locked rivals, and that's definitely one of them. So it feels because I was trying to think, it feels like Kentucky, Tennessee feels like Kentucky's kind of most hated team, but in the same way, Georgia always felt like South Carolina's most hated team. But yeah, I think the 3 you named, I think obviously there's going to be some casualties. The good part about the casualties is that, okay, maybe you don't get it every year, but you're going to get it every other year. So it's not the biggest deal. But Alabama, Tennessee feels like one that we just can't not have. So yeah, I think for Tennessee, Alabama, Florida, and then the in-state rivalry with Vanderbilt's another one that's kind of you can't not have the 2 in-state rivals playing each other. So for Tennessee, it seems the most cut and dry. Other than Georgia, Tennessee, it feels like it's gotten bigger. It may have never been an official rivalry, but it feels like it's gotten bigger over the last 4 or 5 years. You're going to have those. You're going to have the Auburn LSUs that just some of these games we're not going to get every year. It's going to happen. I hate not having Tennessee on Georgia's schedule. Just something about that just doesn't feel right. But if you have to lock in 3 for Tennessee, I'm with you. I think Andy Staples had the same thing in his is Alabama, Florida, and Vanderbilt.
Who's the 3 for Georgia in your opinion?
For Georgia, I think Florida and Auburn are whatever I'm trying to look for, deal breakers. You can't lose Florida and Auburn, especially Auburn with the Deep South's oldest rivalry. It's literally the oldest rivalry in the SEC. And then after that, I think South Carolina seems like that logical one. And one thing I would say to people who are worked up by their 3 locked rivals are difficult, or easy, but our 3 locked rivals are tough. If you look at any sort of scenario, if you think someone's 3 locked rivals are the easiest in the conference, go look at the other 6 teams they have like in the rotation. There is not a team that will have an easy schedule moving forward. So it's pretty perfect all around. I think you said it won't be clean, but it feels like it's going to be very clean.
Well, I think there are going to be some casualties, I guess, is my thing. Is Tennessee is going to lose someone that fans want to play every year. It might be Kentucky. It might be Florida. Maybe even some Tennessee fans would like to play Georgia every year. But to your point, you're still going to get them twice in 4 years. Like, even if you don't get these teams every year, you're still like, I think there's been a renewed support to throw Auburn back on the calendar every year. That used to be a big Tennessee rivalry back in the day. Tennessee used to play Auburn every year and a lot of iconic games there, but you already got Alabama. I don't really, you could sell me on Auburn and bringing that back, but I don't see that as likely. I don't think that's ultimately where things go. South Carolina, I think it makes some sense to me because South Carolina, Shane Beamer and that side of things, I don't think a lot of Tennessee fans would have any problem facing off of Shane Beamer year over year. And obviously, South Carolina's home venue is one of the best in the sport. Neyland obviously being one of the best in the sport as well. So I think it'd be fun for fans to continue to go home and home there and that kind of atmosphere. So I don't know. I don't really, it seems like I think Andy Staples of On3 released his projections on who everyone is most likely to keep in their 3 permanent rivals. And he actually had Florida as Tennessee's 3rd. So like you said, I think Tennessee's locks are Alabama and Vanderbilt, but then after that, I don't really know. I mean, do you agree with Andy throwing out Auburn, Florida, and Kentucky as Georgia's 3 rivals, or would you rather see someone else instead of Kentucky in that spot?
Yeah, I definitely don't put Kentucky up there with Georgia because it feels like with Georgia, half the conference is rivals of theirs, and now Texas feels like it feels like they're trying to force this Georgia-Texas rivalry on us. But so I don't know. There's going to be some that like kind of, I don't know, just don't really make much sense because you're going to have to lose some of these. So I mean, yeah, if you had Auburn and Florida and another traditional SEC East team, I think that's good enough. But Georgia, South Carolina just kind of always seemed bigger than Georgia, Kentucky to me. Like even when Kentucky is at their best, I don't think a Georgia fan ever gets up for that game. Like 2018, when like that game was in November and was legitimately deciding who goes to the SEC championship. It's like it was the biggest game in Kentucky history. I don't feel like Georgia fans it didn't move the needle that much. So yeah, I'm not going to be like upset by it, but Kentucky's definitely not one of the 3 I would pick for Georgia.
You know, it's funny. The biggest winner in this 9-team model to me is Mississippi State. There are 3, Kentucky, Ole Miss, and Vanderbilt. 3 permanent rivals for Mississippi State. Huge winners in that regard. You know who the biggest loser, though, is?
No, that's true, but go look at who the next other 6 games are. I guarantee you, they'll have Texas and Alabama and Georgia. It's going to be – everyone's going to have a gauntlet.
Well, Bama, their 3 permanent ones, LSU, Tennessee, and Auburn. Woof. I mean, that is – because I just don't know who you could take out for Alabama because everyone wants Bama, LSU. Tennessee and Alabama is non-negotiable, and Auburn, Alabama is non-negotiable. I don't think there's any way to appease Alabama fans and Alabama coaches, right? Like, there's just no way around it. Like, your 3 permanent rivals are going to be hard at Alabama.
Yeah, non-negotiable is the word I was looking for. You phrased it better than I did. I think Alabama, LSU feels like a little bit of recency bias. Like, trust me, as an SEC fan, I want Alabama, LSU. But it's not like you could probably compare it to something like Georgia, Tennessee. Obviously, they've had bigger matchups, but it's not an official rivalry game like a world's largest outdoor cocktail party, 3rd Saturday in October. It doesn't have one of those like true names. Like I think even we're talking about Tennessee and Florida. Like I think maybe we're all kind of prisoners of the '90s in recent history, but like that was the game of the '90s. But I mean, when it comes to Tennessee, like their non-negotiables are Vanderbilt and Alabama, as far as I'm concerned. So there are some of those that you're not going to get every year, but maybe get it every other year. So LSU is definitely the 3rd one I would like to see for Alabama. But regardless of who you pick, we're going to get LSU, Alabama. every other year at the absolute worst.
Does this feel to you like the 5+11 format's coming now for 26 and beyond?
Yeah, I could definitely see that coming. I'm not a playoff expansion guy. And I wonder if that's why the Big Ten was leaking the whole 24, 28 team, just so that we'd all settle for 16 at that point. Just classic negotiation tactic. But I guess that's where it's headed. If we're going to guarantee, what are they trying to guarantee? Like 4 or 5?
Five
from the Big Ten, 5 apiece from the Big Ten and SEC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe that is what this says, but maybe if I think at the very least, if they're confident that the College Football Playoff Committee is going to kind of reevaluate how they evaluate the teams, then maybe that's what allowed them to make this decision to go to 9 games, but. I think that we all kind of want all these things to be connected, but I think what we're kind of forgetting is that there was no SEC schedule after 2025. Like in the past, you could know who you were playing like 10 years in advance because of how just consistent that rotation was. But it seems like once they expanded, the SEC didn't really know what to do last year, and they were like, let's just play the same teams as we did in 2024, and we'll figure out 2026 later. I think that was another aspect of this is that, like, I'm not sure how you could have continued this 16-team conference just playing 8 games.
I love it. We'll get out of here on this, Matt. Are you worried at all about what this means for the future of non-conference rivalries like Georgia Tech?
No, because I would hope that that Georgia Tech and these Florida State type rivalries are all going to stay. Maybe we can bring Oklahoma State back. Like we need Bedlam. But no, I think that one Power 5 matchup or Power 4 matchup they talked about, I think that'll preserve those in-state non-conference rivalries. I just worry that is Georgia, is South Carolina, is Florida going to just kind of, okay, let's just play 2 cupcakes with the other 2 games that we have to play with. Like, hopefully it doesn't discourage teams from still scheduling competitive non-conference games. But I mean, I with what the committee's done so far and how Indiana is scheduled and other teams have scheduled, like it's understandable if you're just trying to find as many wins as you can and scheduling a home and home with Florida State or Ohio State, that feels like it's in a more jeopardy than the in-state rivalry with Georgia Tech. The Invesco QQQ Atlanta Showdown or whatever the hell they called it this year.
Yeah, it's a mess. Just making it way more complicated than it needs to be. Well, Matt, thank you as always for jumping on here. It was great talking all things SEC expansion, and appreciate you jumping on. Make sure you go check out Matt and the Georgia Voice College Football and on my program twice a week during this college football season as well. So we'll have you back on the radio program as well soon. Always a pleasure, my friend, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
There you go. Matt Green, fellow University of North Georgia alumni, wrapping up here on a Friday. Big time show, guys, today. Last Friday show before we get to depart here and know that Tennessee football will be on the docket the following day. So this is it. Last weekend without Tennessee football for a long time. Hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you for being with us here on this Friday edition. Don't forget, I'll be at Northview and Carter tonight in our Friday night prep show here at Fan Run Radio. So make sure you're locked in there, 9:30 to 11:30 p.m. and call in there. Thank you to Jackson. Thank you to Garrett. Thank you to all of our wonderful guests coming on today. The Drive from Russell Smith and the Bears up next. Chase is back Monday at 1 o'clock. Have a wonderful weekend, Knoxville.